All right, everybody. I know some people get bored of these videos, but I've said it before. I make these videos because in case I ever meet these people and something happens, again, I had to call the police on somebody. It was, I guess, over a year ago now. And when I see how crazy these people are, I'm always like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to have a weapon on me on one hand and the phone in the other. It's like, do I need to call the police? I can see you are absolutely insane, the stuff that you think I did and the fantasies that you talk about me. It's not normal. How many times have I said that I don't consider myself a competitive player, right? I feel lucky that when I have played competitively to say that I won, okay? That's not me saying that I'm better than everyone else. Have I done more than tech in fighting games than everyone else in the history of fighting games? Yes, but it is what it is. I've also said that I've not played the game, haven't played anybody online, anything like that in a year, right? Do you think I lied about that? And even when I came back to play, came back loosely, I go years without playing people, okay? I've showed the controllers I play on. Do you think I faked the broken controllers? You've seen me playing recorded and the controllers short out and they don't work. The converters are broken. Do you think that I haven't had surgery on my hands? I showed me having surgery on my hands. Do you think I don't actually have these pinched nerves down my neck? I mean, we could show this. People think it's fake. Guess what? There's a picture of me yesterday in physical therapy. Got that little thing on? I got a filter on. Yes, it's a filter. It's a silly filter. Stretching out my neck for these pinched nerves going down my hands. That is U of M messaging me about my appointment. Do you think I faked all this stuff? Why do you think I have to work out the way that I do with light weights? My hands don't work, dude. Okay? Even if I wanted to play games like you guys, it is not physically possible for me. Okay? Now I want to show you just how crazy these people are. These guys start talking about Alpha 1. Oh God. Oh Jesus. Oh yeah, did I say remember if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you can, appreciate it. Thanks. Super chat, PayPal, Patreon, bro. Ooh boy, A1 is kind of a friggin' old type. Ken, the existing player base there is kind of making sure of that, not the friendliest. So what could Funky B be talking about? He's apparently talking about Alpha 1 too, not his insane Alpha 2 Discord where they tell fantasy stories about me, right? Sure, that's very friendly. Isn't Howdy the Smurf account of another account? I forget the name. I only played once after that, and a few sets I was hit with a statement in chat, something like, you can't stand a chance against X if you can't beat me, or some silly shit like that. Now, we're going to go scroll down and we're going to see, of course, this divulges and degrades, or whatever word, gets polluted into a Clayton is evil kind of chat, of course. Now, I was wondering what this is when I looked at this. And do you know the Howdy person? He actually meshes me. And do you know what this was about? And this shows how fucking afraid this funky butt-loving guy is, dude. X was me. He played the funky guy, he told me. And he said, if you can't beat me, you know you're not going to be able to beat Clayton. And apparently the funky guy had a meltdown and started raging in the chat that he would ever say Clayton, something about Clayton, which I don't even know why that's that weird. We've already seen, did we not show? I was winning tournaments as a kid after radiation, you know, on disability, never played like you motherfuckers. Sorry I won. We've showed me winning online. Sorry I've won on broken controllers. Sorry, I've won with barely being able to use my hands. It is a fact. That's not me saying that I'm better than everyone. That's just a fact of the matter. And apparently, he said the X's. He's like, oh, I actually said you. And he raged after I said you. Wow, shocking. Certainly funky butt loving here is not insane. That apparently hearing my name in the chat and he flipped his shit when he heard that, right? You got hit with a henshot, cringe, no doubt, right? A Mike Lee story. To me, the A1 crew is a group that weren't good at other games. So they picked a game that no one played on purpose and acted like dicks to everyone else because they wanted to be the best. I don't know what the Mike Lee story. Remember, Mike Lee's story is Mikey, Crack Prawn. Do you remember Crack Prawn is the same guy that helped get Mr. Wizard canceled? But then it came out that he himself was a degenerate who, if you go look it up, was it not something that he was drugging and getting all these girls drunk and raping them at anime cons? And then he was canceled himself. Do you remember that? You'll have to go look it up. I'm not too versed on the story, but he didn't seem to deny any of it, and he was canceled. But then he came back instead of as Crack Prawn as a Mike Lee story, and he's allowed to enter tournaments again, even though he was canceled. Very, very strange. And I've told my interactions with the guy. The whole reason I stopped talking to this guy because he's an idiot, because he kept going around telling everybody that he was my friend, but he was also cool with people saying that I faked dying. Which how many times have we showed that? And he's like, oh, well, I don't want to talk about it because I don't know much about it. And then he made up a fucking story that I hate transgender people and I hate LGBTQ people. Do you remember that? Do you remember he helped spread that lie? Because I didn't want to be his friend after I heard that he was okay with people saying that I faked dying. Then those same LGBTQ members, etc., that made all that stuff up, after they admitted that none of it happened, he then changed his story to, I called people a retard and used the R word. And that's actually why he hates me. I mean, he's not all there. He's kind of a fucking Looney Tune. Okay? Oh my God. Let's get to that. So anyway, a troll who has 2 accounts and a 16-hour vid, a retired A1 pseudo guru with health issues and posts drama long videos over a comment said randomly on stream. A retired in quotation marks. We just showed. I have never been someone that has played games as much as you. Go look at these guys' hours. All these guys' hours. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. I just showed I can go a year without playing games. It's not a big deal to me. I've gone years without playing games. These guys in a single year have probably played more video games than I have in my entire life. Is that crazy? I don't know what is considered retired. I mean, I just showed I don't play, motherfucker. I like how he says pseudo guru. Well, I mean, God, I don't know. I'm sorry that I beat people in the game without practicing on broken controllers. I'm sorry that I know more about fighting games, which I've showed, than you guys. We have showed that the Alpha 2 Discord actually has run from me. Do you remember that? The Alpha 2 Discord has fucking run from me, and I don't even play Alpha 2. Their smartest players, they're apparently their tech lords, ran from me and tried to say that the stuff I was doing was fake. That's how bad they got beat intellectually, mentally. They tried to pretend that everything I did was fake. They're not that smart, okay? My God. Clayton just uses 1 now. I haven't played in a year. What's going on? I haven't played. I don't play. What is going on? I haven't played in a year. What? I don't know if maybe Watson or something. You know, Watson has like fucking like 6 names or some shit like that. I don't know how many names he has. Like maybe people thought one of Watson's fake accounts was me. I had no idea. And I mean, just to get into that whole psychological thing, obviously I have a lot of respect for Mike Watson, but I feel like Mike Watson is, Mike Watson is synonymous with Street Fighter for me. And I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's done. And I always think that the reason that Mike has so many different accounts is because he does feel kind of jaded about the community, because he's like, he went from being one of the most important American players ever to now he's kind of like, and I say this loosely, he's one of the, now when people think about old school American Street Fighter, they think about guys like Choi and Vai before him, even though it used to be Watson you used to think about. And I think he has a little bit of I think some of his jadedness is actually deserved, because I do think he gets, I do think he doesn't get enough credit for what he originally did in Street Fighter 2, actually. So, I mean, that's my opinion, and that's, I think, why he has so many different accounts, because I think he's afraid to admit that he cares as much as he does. And but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I have a lot of respect for the guy. But anyway, I don't know if people think some of his fake accounts are me or some shit like that. I don't know. But anyway, and I mean, I was just looking at this, dude. And what is it? What is this shit? I don't hate A1 that bad, though. Listen, Slamtown is the same guy that talks about me nonstop, and I don't even know who the fuck he is. Apparently, he hates me because I know more about video games than him. Okay? Do you remember when I had not played video games for years, and I actually signed on to A1? A1, apparently Slamtown, I mean, he used to say that he hates it. He has played more Alpha 1 than I did in like 10 years. Yet he doesn't like the game. You can look at how many hours the guy has. The guy has played more video games in probably a year span of time than I have played in my entire life of fighting games. Okay, not including RPGs, because RPGs, when you think about dating games, I've played a lot of those actually. I'm a nerd. But fighting games, it's reasonable to assume and not entirely implausible that I'm sure that this guy in a year's time has played more Street Fighter than I have in 15, 20 years in a single year of every fucking game combined. I have no idea. Also, a lot of A1 fans are only fans because they're Clayton meat riders, and which is a fate worse than death. I don't know why these people are so mad about some YouTube schizo. You ran from me. Slamtown and all these other guys ran from me. They couldn't even talk about the game that they love. Look at who liked his post? The Virus guy, the guy that is supposedly a tech lord, ran from me and thought that the stuff that I was doing was fake. He couldn't explain it because he's not that fucking good. That guy came into my YouTube one day and started talking about how he was the god and all the stuff that I did wasn't real. Pretty sure he's not that smart. Unbelievable. My God. You know, it's and I said this before too. Let's remember, can anyone show where I've said that Alpha 1 is the greatest game of all time or some shit? Because I haven't. I don't care about subjective arguments, generally speaking, when it comes to fighting games. I'm talking about things objectively. And when people try to talk about Alpha 2 and they say they're being objective, they talk about it in a fairy tale way. And I can... How many times have I looked at games and analyzed them without ever playing them? The stuff people say about Alpha 2 is not true, and I've made videos showing it. They cannot have an intelligent conversation about the game that they love, and so they're mad at me, and they make up this fake story that I think Alpha 1 is the greatest game of all time. When did I ever say that? And again, that Mike Lee story, oh, that people went to A1. Are you trying to imply that I went to A1 because I didn't win at other games? You mean Guilty Gear? I was winning while dying? Won every tournament for like a year. I entered basically besides Evo, not knowing how long I was going to be alive. What? You mean Super Turbo? We can go back. People, when I signed on to Super Turbo, it would have been, again, was it the late 2000s, early 2010s, whatever. People were saying they thought I was like Damn Die's fake account or some shit like that. They said I was one of the best Ryus in the world. And if you know that account, that's my account on GGPO. That's me. It's not Damn Die's fake account. Ridiculous. Excuse me. Just unbelievable. Again, I know some people get bored about these videos, but I just do these because, I mean, it's scary. You think about how insane these people are that they're still talking about me. I haven't played the game in a year, and even before that, how often I play? Very, very rarely. You think I'm playing? What am I playing on? You guys dream about beating somebody that does not even play games. You're dreaming about beating someone that plays games, hasn't played games in a year, goes years without playing games, randomly signs on, I'll play a little bit. Are you serious? And finally, just to talk about a little something, I got to do the Marvel thing because there's a Marvel thing too that someone's talking about. But this is fine talking about subjective versus objective, and people can't have intelligent conversations. This guy's talking about Third Strike is the best. A lot of social media influencers and the FGC gravitate to that game a lot more than other retro Street Fighter fighters. Oh, God. So apparently this guy says Third Strike is the best game because social media influencers and FGC gravitate toward the game. Okay, you mean social media influencers that also try to say that I fake dying and have done less than me in video games that I used to beat in tournaments? Well, what does that mean? You know, it's just crazy. You read this shit. Again, so I'm like, your argument that Third Strike is the best Street Fighter ever is because people on social media and they shill it? Like, what a compelling argument. Like, I cannot believe this motherfucker was tagging me to read this shit. I barely sign on to Discord as it is. And you tag me in something to read this absolute nonsense. You know, it's just retarded. And then this guy gets mad. Oh, don't talk about Alpha 2. You know, I like, and then he's like, since ST is a perfect golden child, you claim despite its dwindling numbers. And I show this, and if you go to this, Do you know if you actually go to these Japanese sites, and you know, this just goes, you can cherry pick anything. If I go to these Japanese like sites with YouTube videos of Super Turbo matches and Third Strike videos, do you know that Super Turbo beats Third Strike and all these people watching these tournaments like 10-1? Like 10 times the views. Some videos have 20 times the views. I don't give a fuck if Third Strike and more people are playing Third Strike on Fightcade. Doesn't matter. Like, what are you talking about? That people are shilling it? Oh, Third Strike must be the best because an influencer said it is. An influencer that lost to me in tournaments. An influencer that cannot beat me when I have not played a fucking video game in years. An influencer that will joke about me dying. What do they know? It's insane. It's no wonder you guys can't do more than me in video games. Just, ugh. And you know, the funny thing is too, if we're talking about just numbers, let's assume, I'll play devil's advocate for a second. Let's assume that Third Strike does have more people playing it and watching it than Super Turbo. So because whatever has the most people, that to you, you fucking idiot, this means it's the greatest Street Fighter ever. Well, guess what? Street Fighter 2 had more people playing it than any of these games. So guess what? By your argument, Street Fighter 2 is actually the greatest fighting game of all time. Which, I mean, you could almost say it. I actually, geez, you know what? I think you could, you could almost make an argument to me that I almost might believe you that Street Fighter 2, even as unbalanced and broken as it is, could be a better game than Third Strike just because of pure cultural significance. The cultural significance of Street Fighter 2 might just outweigh Third Strike being more competitive than Street Fighter 2 to me. I think you could probably make an argument that you might scratch my head a little bit, but anyway, I don't know. I just read this shit and I think about how crazy people are. Why the fuck are you tagging me and shit and making me read this shit? You know, I barely play games, you know. I mean, when do I play? I haven't played anybody in a year. You guys are insane. I'm sorry that I can look at a game and do more than you. Maybe if you guys, you know, took a break from these delusional stories about me that you have in your head and actually tried to get better at games, or maybe worked out or did something with your life, you might be able to compete. But for now, you can't. We'll do the Marvel video. This video is long enough. We'll do the Marvel video another day because the Marvel thing I saw is. I got to do an FGC on NBC video. I got a good idea. If you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you can. Appreciate it. Thanks. The end.